fucking do this!
Lucio one, thanks.
Remember, we want to keep up this pressure. We're doing really good.
No, we can push. I bubble. Tree behind.
Let's get swish. Fuck him up.
Okay, we gotta back out. We lost some.
So welcome to Harrisburg University. Today, we have this idea of becoming a world-class science and technology university. We celebrate being geeks. For us, esports is not something that is done, in a converted closet somewhere. Esports is front and center of everything we're going to do moving forward. We've already started positioning the city of Harrisburg as kind of the hub of esports in this part of the world.
Esports is projected to be $1 billion industry by next year. It hasn't quite caught on at the college sports level, though. Only about 60 schools in the US have varsity-level teams. But recently, the NCAA has been considering getting involved in esports. And before that happens, Harrisburg wants to establish themselves as the powerhouse school.
Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've held online tryouts, hundreds and hundreds of players, and out of those hundreds, we picked 35 and flew them to Harrisburg to get 35 down to 16, which is going to be the number of full scholarships we award and the number of players on the 3 varsity teams.
How much money has University of Harrisburg put into this whole esports initiative?
Before even the first match happens in September, we will have spent somewhere between $2.5 and $3 million.
Y'all putting a lot of money into this.
We're serious about this. Yes, we are.
Diva point. What XP?
And so are the recruits. In between the standard admissions Q&A and the campus tour, prospective students are put through final tryouts for games like Overwatch and League of Legends. The tryouts span 5 hours, and prospects play with and against each other, competing for a full ride that's worth nearly $24,000, with an additional stipend for room and board.
Yeah, so if everybody's clear on the plan, if there's anything that goes wrong, just default to me telling you what to do. I'm pretty good at that.
What made you want to come here?
To Harrisburg? I'm 18, I'm in high school. I wasn't gonna really go to college anyways. It's the kind of thing that's like, this door opened for me, I'm not just gonna let it close.
How do you think you'll balance your responsibilities as an athlete with school?
Horribly. Honestly, I don't think I'll be very good at it, but I'm gonna try my best. I work, I don't work very well in like in a normal school environment, but I hope that when I go to college, it's gonna be better. I hope.
All right, so we're gonna put the teams together.
In tryouts leading up to this event, head coach Jeff Wang and program director Chad Smeltz looked at hundreds of hours of game footage and spent weeks poring over gameplay data, kind of like an esports version of Moneyball.
It's one thing to be able to look at their footage, and then it's another to be able to see their mannerisms in game, how they interact, how they take losses. There's some people who just like throw their headset down when they lose.
One thing that really fascinates me is y'all have a really interesting spread of recruits here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of diversity, variety, personality. Like, it's all across the board. Like you'll meet all types of people in esports.
No women here.
No, actually. So that's one of the things that we were talking about is that we had a lot of women in the tryout, both for League of Legends, Overwatch, and Hearthstone. And we're trying to find the top of the top. And right now, none of the women made that next cut. And I think one of the biggest reasons is that culturally, it's not accepted as much for them to be playing games, at least 10, 15 years ago as they were growing up.
I think y'all are poised to be at the forefront of this, which means that there will be a lot of people looking at this school. And, if there's women on the team, if there's not women on the team, that's going to kind of shape what, little boys, little girls think about esports in general.
So in the professional scene, and it's been around for 5 to 10 years, they just had the first female Overwatch player, just literally a month ago, join the team ever. So there's definitely that stigma, but the cool thing is that when you see them for the first time, there's so many little kids, both boys and girls, that look up to that, and they're like, wow, that's really cool, anybody can do that. And you start seeing that slow shift in culture and change, and that's what we want to include here too.
We gotta be really careful here.
Send us one. There's a junk.
If you can do well in the tryouts, your chances of getting a scholarship are pretty good. But the final test is a one-on-one with the coaches.
How's your academic history in the past?
My academic history hasn't been great, but everything that I've been doing recently has definitely pointed me in a better direction. I had a lot of anger problems when I was a child, when I was very, very young. I got into fights at the schoolyard.
Did that ever carry over into esports when you were playing contenders or anything like that?
In the early days, yeah.
How did you adjust around it then?
I've been taking therapy courses, and I've been on medication. I sometimes come across as too blunt, and that seems like I'm being mean.
A few days after his tryout, Gunther finally got a phone call with the news he was waiting for: a full-ride scholarship to Harrisburg University.
People don't know what structure players need. They might know the game and they might be able to tell players, hey, do this in game, but being able to manage the relationships of the players is now something that's really, really kind of coming to the forefront in North America.
We're giving them stability. Stability to do what they want on the game side and education-wise, and then just continuing to raise that bar, because as they get used to it, we can work a lot with them on doing other things. So it's just one step at a time for them and being able to get them through that process.